Hello champions and happy Monday. Today we're going to divide whole numbers. By the end of this lesson you'll be able to divide by 1-digit and 2-digit divisors. I know you're going to do a great job and so does Mr. Smiles. Let's dive right into our video. Let's start with a multiplication question. 357 times 126. Remember, when I'm solving this question, it's like doing 6 times 357, 20 times 357, and 100 times 357. We'll start with the 6. What's 6 times 7? 6 times 7 is 42. What's 6 times 5? It's 30, plus 4 more is 34. What's 6 times 3? It's 18, plus 3 more is 21. Now I'm done with the 6. So I need to drop a 0 because 2 is in the tens place. What's 2 times 7? It's 14. What's 2 times 5? It's 10, plus 1 more is 11. What's 2 times 3? It's 6, plus 1 more is 7. Now I'm done with my 2. I need to drop 2 zeros because 1 is in the hundreds place. What's 1 times 7? It's 7. What's 1 times 5? It's 5. What's 1 times 3? It's 3. Now I can add. 2 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 4 is 8. 1 plus 1 plus 7 is 9. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 5 more is 14. 1 plus 3 is 4. The correct answer is 44,982. Now you try one. What's 234 times 132? Remember to type your answer in with no comma. Check your work with mine. 234 times 132 is 30,888. Now let's add and subtract decimals. Remember, the most important thing when adding or subtracting decimals is lining up the decimal points. Try the first one. What's 56 and 5/10 plus 12 and 87 hundredths? The correct answer is 69 and 37 hundredths. Now try another. What's 37 and 2/10 minus 14 and 64 hundredths? The correct answer is 22 and 56 hundredths. Now let's multiply decimals. Remember, multiplying decimals is just like multiplying fractions. When I multiply tenths times hundredths, I'll get thousandths. When I multiply tenths times tenths, I'll get hundredths. The easiest way to know what my denominator or my place value is going to be is to count the digits behind the decimal. Let's look at this first example. I can count 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal. After I've done that, I can multiply like normal. 32 times 16. What's 32 times 16? 32 times 16 is 512. I know I need to place 3 digits behind the decimal, so I can count over 1, 2, 3. The correct answer is 0 and 512 thousandths. Now you try one. What's 4 and 9/10 times 14 hundredths? The correct answer is 686 thousandths. Let's do our final warm-up problem. Multiply 4 and 91 hundredths times 10 to the second power. First, when I multiply times 10 to the second power, what happens to the place value? It increases 2 times. So I need to move the decimal how many times? I need to move the decimal 2 times to the right. So I can move it once, twice. When I do, my 4 has moved to the hundreds place. The answer is 491. Now you try one. What's 4 and 91 hundredths times 10 to the third power? Well, this time I would need to move my decimal 3 times to the right. 1, 2, 3. I can fill in my 0. The answer is 4,910. Today we're going to talk about dividing whole numbers. Remember, when we divide, we can follow steps in the algorithm. First, divide, then multiply. After you multiply, subtract, then bring down. Then we can repeat it all over again. First, I need to figure out where I'm going to start my division. When I divide 294 divided by 3, where should I start my division? I'm going to start with 29 tens. 3 is too big for 2 hundreds. How many times does 3 go into 29? 3 goes into 29 9 times. Now I can multiply to see how many tens I used. What's 9 times 3? 9 times 3 is 27. When I subtract, how many do I have left over? I have 2 left over. Now I bring down my 4. I need to divide 24 divided by 3. I need to figure out how many times 3 goes into 24. How many times does 3 go into 24? 3 goes into 24 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. When I subtract, I have nothing left over. So 294 divided by 3 is 98, remainder 0. Now you try one. What is 317 divided by 4? When I divide 317 divided by 4, I start dividing in the tens place. I can see that 4 goes into 31 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28, and when I subtract, I have 3 left over. I bring down my 7. 4 goes into 37 9 times. 9 times 4 is 36, and that leaves 1 remaining. The answer is 79, remainder 1. I can use the same steps to divide by two-digit numbers. What is 986 divided by 25? To solve this problem, first I need to list the multiples of 25. Go ahead and list your multiples of 25 on your paper, then enter them in the computer. Now that we've listed our multiples of 25, we're ready to divide. Where should we start our division? Should we start at 9 hundredths, 98 tens, or 986 ones? The first number that 25 goes into is 98 tens. How many times does 25 go into 98? 25 goes into 98 3 times. 3 times 25 is 75. What do I have left over when I subtract? I have 23. Bring down my 6. How many times does 25 go into 236? It goes in 9 times. 9 times 25 is 225. How many will be left over? Well, 6 minus 5 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So the answer is 39, remainder 11. Now let's try another one. What's 3,647 divided by 42? Before I can start, let's list our multiples of 42. Go ahead and list your multiples of 42 on your paper, then enter them on the computer. Now that you've got your multiples of 42, solve the division problem. What's 3,647 divided by 42? Let's see how you did. 3,647 divided by 42 is 86, remainder 35. Now you try one. What's 2,612 divided by 13? Don't forget to list your multiples of 13 first. 2,612 divided by 13 is 200, remainder 12. You've done a great job with this video. There's a lot of opportunity for practice. Go ahead and go to the IXL practice on your playlist paper. Make sure you can get your SMART score up above 90.